Welcome, welcome, welcome to Learning Reaper. I'm your host, X.E.L.O. And today we're going to be going over how I set up my piano roll in Reaper from complete scratch. I mean, I'm going to download a brand new version, put it on a flash drive, download SWS, put it on the flash drive, download ReaPack, put it on the flash drive, and show you exactly how I currently have my piano roll set up in here. If you don't want to go through the whole thing on here, I do have an option to download the configuration file on the website. The link will be below in the description. So with that being said, let's get into the video. All right, first thing you're going to need to do is download Reaper, and it looks like they just released version 6.80. So I'm going to download that. What I also want to do is go to the resources, and I want to go to the SWS Reaper extensions, and you want to make sure you get whatever operating system you have. Right now it would be the Windows for me. If you have Mac, make sure you download the one for the Mac, or if you're using Linux, make sure you're using the one for Linux. So you would download this as well. All right, and then we want to go to ReaPack, and you want to make sure you download ReaPack. You can download which one you need, whether that's for Mac or for Windows, and hit on the download for that. These three things are crucial for actually setting everything up because it gives you other options that doesn't come standard with Reaper. So what I would suggest is go to repository list. So these first ones will actually come standard with ReaPack when you download it. So we want to make sure we can get to the other packs as well that we may need in this. You can download all of them if you want to. Basically, you just copy these links and then put them in when you ask to install them. And we can kind of go through that as well. So I'll keep this page open so that we can add the ones that we need for ReaPack. All right, so I'm going to do a completely fresh install for you guys just so you can kind of see. I'm actually going to put it on my flash drive so that I'll be able to use it. I made a file on my drive called Reaper Piano Roll 1. So this is basically be where I'll save and set up the whole entire piano roll. I'm going to install it. And like I said, I'm installing this to a flash drive, not to like, a hard drive, flash drive that I can pull out. All right, and the next thing you want to actually install would be the SWS extensions, whether that be for Windows or for Mac. This is what you will want to download as well. And I'm going to browse to find out where this should be. And I'm going to choose my flash drive, and that's where I want it to go. So now it's in that Reaper Piano Roll 1 on my flash drive. I hit next. Tell me which ones I want to download and install. All right. All right, so after you do that in the SWS file, then you just want to open up Reaper, and it's going to ask you to select an audio device. All right. So now here we are in Reaper, and as you see, I have my extensions up here. This is from the SWS extensions. We do need to add the ReaPack to Reaper as well. So in order to do that, the easiest way is go to Options, and then go to Show Resource Path in Explore Finder. All right, and once you're inside here, I usually like to use this user plugins for everything. So if I'm doing anything I'm adding or have an additional to Reaper, I usually like to put it in the user plugins. So I'm gonna click on the user plugins. So what I'm gonna do is drag in the DLL file that I downloaded from ReaPack. So I'm gonna grab the ReaPack one, drag it into Reaper, and boom, now we have the DLL pack for Reaper in here. And we're gonna go back to the website, and the links to these will be below in the description. Is gonna be this ZD Ultimate Reascale, and you just download this one as well. All right, and another one here would be Chords, Scales, and Arps zip, and basically you just download this as well. And the chords and scales, chord scales and arps, we also want to do the same thing for that. So I'm going to drag those files over into here as well. So it should have a Reaper key map, and it should have a Reaper menu. So these should be in here as well. So all of these are still under the user plugins. So I think it's the easiest way to add things in there if you are actually pulling any kind of scripts. So you'll always know where to go and find it. You don't have to search around inside of Reaper. They should all be in your user plugins. I think that's the easiest way to do it. All right, so let's continue on. So I'm gonna close this out. And I'm actually gonna close Reaper. All right, I'm gonna reopen up Reaper. And it pops up with this manage repositories option as soon as I opened up Reaper. So these are the repositories that it actually downloaded. And like I said, these are the ones that had the stars next to them on the page. So I'm gonna pull that page back up. All right, so here we are on the repository page, and these are the ones that I actually downloaded. So what we wanna do is actually add some more on here. So let's add some more. First one we're gonna look for is feed the cat tools. So if you right click on here and you can copy link address, and in here, what we want to do is go to import export. Click on that and you hit import repository and it's going to bring up this box here. So what's cool about Reaper is you can add all of them. You don't have to like keep coming back. So I can add that one, hit enter, and then go back to the website. The next one we're going to download is called KAWA scripts. So this is the one that you want to do, the one that has 420 scripts and 7 effects. So you right click on that, copy link address, paste it right in here, hit enter. All right, and the next one is going to be these RobU Scripts, and he has 1 script. So we're going to right click on there, copy, paste. All right, and there should be one more all the way at the bottom. This one right here, I'm going to butcher it. So it has 409 scripts and 5 effects. We're going to use this one, right click, copy link address, and paste. So like I said, you can use as many as you want to. You can download all of them from the scripts if you wanted to from that ReaPack. But these are the ones that I know have things in it that I want to use for the piano roll. So that's why I chose these. So I'm going to hit OK. And now I have all of them set up on here. And now what I want to do is browse the packages. Select all. Go to your actions and basically install and update selection. And it's gonna ask you, do you want ReaPack to install new packages automatically when synchronizing in the future? You can just hit yes on here and let it do its thing when you hit apply. So basically it's gonna go through all those scripts in here. It's gonna take a little while for it to do it, so sit back and relax. So there's like 4,751 scripts that is going to go through on here. All right, so I was able to actually finish downloading all of the scripts. I know it took a while. If you've actually been trying to do this, that's why I fast forwarded through that part so you could kind of see. But it shows all the things that is actually installed and some of the errors that it comes with, because some of the scripts are older and they don't actually work anymore in the newer versions of Reaper. So that's why you'll get that error. And basically it's letting you know that you'll have to restart Reaper in order to actually see these scripts in there. So I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'll just hit OK on here, and I'll hit OK on here, and I'll hit OK on here. And like I said, you have an option to go into the ReaPacks and add as many of them as you want to. I'm just showing you the ones that I'm gonna be using for this video and for the piano roll setup. All right, so I'm gonna close out of Reaper. All right, and then you'll get this little pop-up when you try to restart Reaper, and it'll tell you to choose a language. I'm going to leave it on English. All right, and here we have the splash screen, basically. Let me know that I'm still evaluating Reaper, because like I said, this is a fresh install. You see me everything from complete scratch. All right, I'm going to double click in this track area. It's going to add an item, and I'm going to hold down Control and drag across just to create a MIDI item. Just double click on it and this brings up your MIDI editor. I'm gonna make it a little bigger so you guys can see it in all of its glory. To add a note, you gotta double click to add a note. You stretch it out. If you add another note, it's gonna be the original length of this grid. We're gonna change that. We're gonna be able to right click on here and add ARPs or chords. So we're gonna set that up, right? We're gonna go down here to this key snap and we're gonna change this to where we have a couple more options in here. I can show you one that has a whole lot of different chords and progressions that you can actually use. So we'll set that up. We're going to set up to where you can see the actual items on this right hand side for the MIDI. We're going to add some tools in the side of the toolbar, and we're going to change some of these settings. So those are a few of the things that we'll be adding into this setup. All right. All right, so the first thing we're going to set up is the chords, scales, and ARPs. So I want to go to File, and I want to go to Load Scales File. All right, and this is an option that you do have to add a couple of scales down here to this major. So let's add that on here just since we're here. Once I click on major down here, you have a couple more modes that you can use. And this is just standard. This one is the one that's standard that comes with it. So I'm going to show you some more. Let's go here. Let's go back into scales and chords. I'm going to go to load and I'm going to go up, right? And this should take me out to where I have my user plugins. Remember, I had some user plugins, the user plugins. So I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to hit open. So now when I click on this, you have a whole bunch of different scales. You have 3-note scales in different types, and minors and majors and wholes. And you have a whole bunch of a different range of notes that you can actually add in here. This is if you want to do that. I personally don't think I'll ever use all of these. So usually I'll take this off. So I'll just load the reascale again and go back to data and then go to sample rescale, right? So I'll click on that one, open it, and it'll go back to the regular one with just a couple of extra modes. I think this one works a lot better for me. If that doesn't work for you, you can actually add the ultimate on there and have all the scales and chords that you want, right? So let's go into the options and we're going to go down here to customize menu/toolbar, and it brings up this little window here. So what we want to look for is under here, this section here. So I'm going to click on this drop down and I want to go to MIDI piano roll context. So this one right here, this MIDI piano roll context. So I'll go here, right? And I want to hit on import export, click on that. And I want to import that file. So let's go up. And like I said, we want everything to be in this user plugins folder. It makes it so much easier to find stuff. And here it is right here, this chords, scales, ARPs, Reaper menu. Click on that and then hit open. And basically this added it into the settings for it. Then you hit OK. All right, so now that we added it onto the list, now we want to go to actions. We're going to go to show action list, right? And we want to make sure we're on a MIDI editor. And we want to go to where it says key map. Click on that. And then you want to hit import shortcut key map. Click on that. And it'll bring you to the key maps that are set up on here. But let's go back to where we know we have everything at, our user plugins. So I'm going to click on user plugins. And right here it says chord scales, ARPs, key map, right? That's the one we want. So I'm going to hit open. And as you see, it created a whole bunch of custom key maps inside of the actions list. So now if I close this out and let's say I right click on here, now I have the option to add scales. I have the option to add the chords and arpeggios as well. So let's say I started here in this beginning, right click, let's say chord, and let's just do a major 6. Let's do that. Boom. So now we have a major 6 right here on the key or chord that we had, right? So let's move along. All right, so now that we have that, let's kind of go through some of the settings so we can see some things different. So I'm gonna click on View, and once we're in View, we're gonna go to Piano Roll Notes. Right here, this piano roll notes. And we want to make sure that we have the note names on here. So I want to see the names of the notes that I'm actually playing. So if I put a note in here, now it'll tell me that this is a G3. We're going to go here to Contents, and we want to have this option here that says Track List. So let's click on that, and you'll have your track list on this side here. You can also do it here on this side. You could hide it or show it, or show track list right here. Another one you may want to do is, it's something you could do with this media item lane right here. So it'll give you all your media right here in this section down here. It's not something I usually like to do, but you can do that if you want to as well. All right, and let's go to Options. Once you click on Options, we're going to go down to where it says this CC velocity lane. You want to go to Show Note Length and Velocity Length. So I'll click on that. So now if I add a note, as you can see, it'll have it'll show the whole thing through the whole velocity. So I can change velocity right here inside of this section. All right, let's go back into Options again. And I want to do this right here where it says drawing or selecting a note sets the new note length. I'm gonna click on that one. So now, before, if you put a note in here, it'll stay this same length. So if I do this and change it to this length, the next note should be that same exact length, right? If I click on another note, let's say I extend this out to here, the next note I put will be that same exact length. And that's what we want to do. All right. And also want to kind of modify some of these things, like this double click to add a note. I want to change that. I want to be able to strum my notes, because right now I'm not able to do that. It doesn't give me an option to add those on here. So I want to kind of add those into the piano roll as well. All right, and to do that, we're going to go back into Options one more time. And once we're in Options, we're going to go down to where it says MIDI Editor Mouse Modifiers. So let's click on that, and this brings up your preferences for your MIDI. So I'm on Mouse Modifiers, and what I want to do is go to MIDI Piano Roll. So I'm going to click on this drop down, and I'm going to go to MIDI Piano Roll, this one right here. Click on that, and I want the option for left click, and I want to change this. So if I double click on it, it'll give me an option to insert a note, and I want it to just insert. All right, hit apply. So now when I add a note, I just click one time and it'll add a note right into the piano roll. And that's exactly what I want to do. And if I wanted to remove a note, just a single note, I can double click to remove the note. All right. So the next thing I want to do in here is do the actual MIDI note. So I'm gonna go here where it says MIDI piano roll, click on this, and I want to go to the one that says MIDI note. Click on that. All right, and I want to go to this one, click here where it says left drag. So what I want to do is be able to drag across on this Shift and Alt, right? So I'm gonna double click here, and I'm gonna go to stretch notes, arpeggiate chord eyes. And I want this one to ignore snap for the shift. Right here, I want to do this Control and Alt one. So I'm gonna double click there. And I want to do the same thing. But this time I want it to just stretch. I'm gonna click on that. So now I have both of these in here set up. I hit apply, and I just hit OK. So now, let's say, so if I want to just do just this one section, I would do Alt and Shift, and then strum this section. If I wanted to do all of them, I just do Control and Alt, and now I can move all of the notes, every single note inside of the MIDI pattern, right? So that would be the difference with that. And one of the things that was like a real pet peeve of mine is this moving the mouse made it go in and out, and I didn't like that. So I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly in this video. I do have another video showing you how I did it, but I just want to show you in this one as well really quickly. So we're going to go to actions. We're going to go to show action list, and we're going to type in, all right, I'm going to do mouse wheel, right? So that way we can kind of see all the mouse wheel stuff. So this is what is set on right now. This is horizontal. We want to change that. We want to do a vertical. So right now it's on Control Alt. We're going to change this one. Go here to add, and we're just going to move the mouse wheel. And now it shows mouse wheel there. Hit OK. It's going to tell me that there's one there already, and we're going to overwrite it in the mapping. So this one here, this horizontal one, we're going to change this. Go to add, and we're going to do Alt and the mouse wheel. So now we have Alt plus mouse wheel will do that one. Hit OK. All right, and while we're in here, we can kind of add some more stuff. So I'm gonna go up here to filter, and let's do split. All right, so I'll hit put split notes right here. The split notes on grid. So basically, this will split all the notes on the grid, kind of like you can do it in like FL Studio. So I'm gonna click on here and hit add, and I want to put it to. I'm gonna hit Control and U, just kind of like you have it in FL Studio, and I'm gonna hit OK. So now I have Control and U to split the notes by the grid. And I want to do another one. Go random CC. All right, so what I want to do is a random CC events for selected notes. So I'm gonna click on this one, and I'm gonna do this one as Alt and R. Right, it's going to tell me that this one has one. This revert file, I have no idea what this does, but I'm going to override it because I want this to be there. All right, so now I have those set up on here, and this one right here, this script little chord box. Click on that, and then hit run. And as you see, it is right here. It'll tell me what these chords are. Let's see. Once you hover over it, it'll tell you what those chords are. Really, really cool. So let's right click on this, and I want to run this script on startup. So I'm gonna click on this. So basically, whenever I start the MIDI, it'll actually pull this in here, so you'll be able to see what your chords and stuff is as well. All right, so let's add some stuff to the toolbar. I'm gonna right click on here, and I'm gonna go to customize toolbar. And as you see, it brings up your action list. I'm put a separator here, right? So let's add some of the things that we already did. So let's go to split notes, right? I'm gonna add this one on here. Let's select that. Let's do a reverse event so we can actually reverse stuff. Reverse selected events. Select that, right? Let's see, what else is there out there? Let's do a KAWA MIDI, and we wanted to do like to generate an ARP. So you can have them do all three of them, but I'm just gonna do this one, this first one, just so it'll actually create an ARP. Let's do the randomize. So we want this one as well. Just have a a shortcut for it, just so you can just click the little button and it'll actually do it. And we're gonna actually add RobU. There's only one on here. This is the X Machina, and I'm gonna select that. And of course, you can add whatever you want to on here, and that is the beauty of all this. All right, so let's see. So if you wanted to add, let's say you wanted to do like chords, right? And you like to use 5 chords, 7 chords, augmented chords, right? Diminished chord, major chord, minor chord. So you say, you have all these in here as well, so you can actually put them in here and kind of rename them to whatever you want them to be, and you'll have them set up on here. So if I hit apply, as you see now, all those are up here on the list. All right, hit OK, and you can close this. So now, you have so many different things you can actually do in here. You can add chords by right-clicking and add in chords or scales. If you wanted to do, like, let's say I I can right click on this, right? And it'll make it red. And then you have this A on here. And it'll add those chords. But you also have this option here to bring up this MIDI Machina. So you can actually create your own chords and sequences. So you can just throw it in here and just create a sequence. And it'll just do a random sequence right there for you inside of the piano roll. Right? So you have those options inside here, inside the piano roll. And then here, this is the random option. So if you know what you're trying to randomize, like the pan would be CC10. So I can add a pan on here to these notes. So if I'm gonna add one, hit this plus sign down here. Let's add 10, which would be the pan, right? Hit on this, and it brings up this box again. So if I hit OK, as you see, it's doing a random for each of the notes inside there, panning them left and right, right? So that would be an option that you do have in there. You can right click across here and delete that as well. So it is an option that you do have, really cool. Now I can reverse the selected event. So everything that's selected, I can reverse it. So I'll go here, right click on these, reverse, it'll reverse the events. And you have an option to split the notes to whatever the grid is as well. All right, and you just right click over it, and then you just do split the notes. It'll split it up according to whatever the grid is. All right, so if you've been through this whole video and you're saying that's a lot of work and you just wanted the configuration file, I do have it available for sale. It's like $8 to actually get the whole configuration file, so you don't have to do all this. So all you gotta do is load the configuration file and you'll have all this set up inside of your MIDI editor as well. All right. But with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please let me know below in the comment section. And once again, thank you for watching Learning Reaper. Till next time. Peace. Hey you, yes you. YouTube wants you to watch this video next, man. Go ahead and click it. I'll wait. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna keep waiting here. All right, I will see you in the next video though. Peace.